So today, um, I am officially fully into Mockingjay. I made it. I'm so excited. I love this story. It's so good. So good. I love this book. It's great. Excited to read some other books though now, and once I'm finished with that, I'm gonna move on to another book. So I'll let you guys know. Something else that I've been doing, I've been going back. I watched a couple of new movies, not new movies, but like new movies to me, and some of them were good, some of them were not great. I don't know, but also went back and rewatched some movies that I hadn't seen in a while, and so I just kind of kind of brought me back to another movie that I had watched a while ago that made me think about something. So we talk about our Roman Empire. Mine, I realize, is guys protecting their girls in subtle ways. So it started with Runaway Bride. If you don't know, that movie is one of the best, if not the best, rom-coms ever. Julia Roberts, Richard Gere. In this story, if you haven't seen it, she's getting married for the fourth time. Fourth. All three of the previous ones, she ran away, obviously. Her character Maggie is in this fourth process of getting married, and they have a luau, like, wedding party. Which, whatever. And Richard Gere's character Ike is a reporter who is going to be like following her, and they begin to do like speeches and toasts, which I didn't realize you do at a wedding party, but I guess you do. I don't know. But they're very like passive aggressive with her. This whole town is so passive aggressive with her, and I don't understand. But regardless, even her own father. And that's when Ike stands up, and he's kind of like, at first he's kind of like, "You okay?" And she's like, I'm fine. She's not fine. And he can tell. And so he's like, I'll make a speech. And yes, I in fact memorized this. I watched it that many times. He says, and this is a quote: "To Maggie's family and friends, may you find yourselves the bullseye of an easy target. May you be publicly flogged for all of your bad choices, and may all of your noses be rubbed in all of your mistakes." Okay, so yeah, that basically said it. And she's mad at him. She's like, "You humiliated me." And he's like, "No, that's what everybody else was doing. I was defending you. They are wrong." And there's a big blowout, and he's like, no, you are lost and you're afraid. You won't even make your own choices. You eat the eggs that your guy is eating every time you're with them. You don't even know what kind of eggs you like. Like, you can't even make decisions for yourself, is what he's saying. And he's like, you don't want that. You don't want to do these things. You want romance. You want someone who cares about you. And it kind of brought me back to 27 Dresses, which again is another one that's like that, when Kevin says, "I think you deserve to have someone take care of you for a change." And I just want to cry. But anyway, pulling it around, I then watched the My Girl movies. Now, most people know that My Girl exists. The first one, heartbreaking but beautiful, and it's a great one. It's a great one. But a lot of people don't know there's a My Girl 2, which I love even better. It is one of my favorites from growing up. I cry more at that movie than I do at the first movie, which you would not expect. In this one, Anna Chlumsky again plays Veda, who gets assigned a school project to write a story about someone she's never met, but made a big achievement. she decides to choose her mother, which of course we know passed in childbirth. And she starts to ask her father, and her father's like, I don't know much. All I know is she was in a traveling acting group, and we met, we fell in love, we got married, we had you, she was gone. That's basically how it went. Like, it was fast. And this is what I know about her. And she had some souvenirs and some things that were collected that kind of was all she had of her mother, and always wanted to know more. So they decide that she could go visit her uncle, who we met in the first movie, who moved to LA, and see her mother's school and try to figure out, because that's where they based out of. Her acting group was based out of LA, so maybe she could meet some of her friends, maybe she could, find some more things. And so she's spending her spring vacation there. And when she gets there, getting more into the point, setting it up for you so you can understand. Anyways, when she gets there, she meets her uncle's girlfriend's son, Nick, played by Austin O'Brien, who we love. Shout out. And at first, she's like, well, I'm not allowed to talk to strangers. I don't want to talk to strangers. But same girl. I mean, you're in a new city. I get it. Yeah. And he's like, well, your Uncle Phil sent me. And at first she's like, but then she's like, okay. So they start to walk out, and some Hare Krishnas are in the airport lobby, and they hand her a flower, and they're like, oh, we have a gift for you. And she's like, oh, thank you. And he grabs the flower, and he's like, no, thank you. And she's like, well, that was rude. He's like, just come on, let's go. Don't pat it. That's green flag number one. First of all, this kid is 14, and he's so honed in. Green flag. But then he's just like, don't worry about it. Come on, let's go. Later, they go to that place in LA where there's the famous people's hands and feet in the cement. And I don't remember what it's called, but anyway. And she's excited because her hands fit in the Judy Garland section, just like her mom's hands did. And as she's standing up, there's a guy who walks past her, clearly a hippie. We know what hippies are doing in 1974, which is when this movie is set. And he blows smoke in her face, and she's like, oh, what is that? And Nick goes, well, what do you think? And she's like, what? And she starts to turn around, and he just takes her by the arm gently again and just, no, come on, let's go. And I'm like, this kid is protecting her, and she doesn't even know it. This is beyond his years. That's not why I'm here. But I just had to talk about that. But today I actually want to talk about something serious. I want to talk about anxiety, something that I think a lot of us do deal with. I'm a spiraler. I don't know if you guys, man, I can just go round and round and round. I talked about my Daniel LaRusso meltdown last week. That's where it goes. That's where it goes. And but there's just so many things that I think you get anxious over. And I was saying this last night to my mom, things just don't matter sometimes. So, I have this bracelet. I'm going to show it to you if you're watching. This little blue bracelet. And it has Philippians 4:6 on it. And it says, do not be anxious for anything, but in everything, through prayer and supplication, make your requests known to God. I love this. I feel like that's something that should be the inner dialogue of your life. We need to flip the script. We need to be aware that inner dialogue, that record that plays in your mind, should not be the what ifs, if I don't do this, I can't have this, and if I don't have this, I don't have this, and the doomsday stuff, right? And we hide it behind, oh, we need to be prepared. We need to, yeah, but I mean, how many of those things actually happen, first of all? And second of all, being prepared is one thing, but to literally be so locked in that you can't get out of that inner dialogue, it's not going to help. And so I feel like it's a part of reprioritizing your life, and also, like I said, keeping that inner dialogue with the Lord. You don't have to speak out loud if you don't want to. Sometimes you might, but it's the thought process. It's the knee-jerk reaction. It's the, I don't even know how to say it, like, other than the inner dialogue. We have the things that we go over in our head. We have our lists, we have our plans, we have our ideas. And that's God-given, that's great that we can do that. But when we get to the solving problems and all of that, what I'm talking about. That's what needs to be flipped to where we're like, okay, this is a problem, and God, I know you can help me figure it out. And that's when that script flips. That's when we can get into actually following through with it, how the Lord leads us, and what actually we are supposed to be doing. So in saying that, it's sometimes easier said than done, and God's not expecting us to be perfect, but He is expecting us to live life in the way that's where we go. We don't go to, oh, I have, what am I going to do? And it's easy to go there. Don't, like I said, I'm a spiraler. I can just crash out with the best of them. But I find the more that I stop when I'm getting to that first part, and I stop and I'm like, okay, wait. That's when I can clear my thoughts. Because, they say when you start getting in panic mode, you're not thinking and you're just grabbing everything, and, you're like that person in the horror movie, just like falling all over the place and stuff. And it really is true. Yeah, it really is all part of it, and that fight or flight mode. And if you stop before you get there, you can start to hone in and focus, and then you're able to get yourself in a situation where you can start rolling and start, moving, and then you're okay. And you can start making the decisions in the right way. And I think you really can only do that if you stop, take a breath, pray. All right, let's, and, it might not be right away either. That's the other thing. Kind of, you want to understand that it might take a little bit of time to know what to do. Sometimes you have to stop for a minute and be like, okay, I'm just gonna take these next couple days, these next couple weeks, whatever, and just keep doing that same thing. Just stay calm, stay quiet. Just, most of the time you at least have a couple of weeks to make decisions, and you'll know by then. It's just how it works. And, those are the situations that, they are anxiety inducing. Yeah. But if you think of it that way, then you can take one step at a time. Break it down into chunks and take those chunks and do what you can do. that's the way to make it through. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's kind of the same, it's kind of that thought process of take it one step at a time, take it one day at a time, and celebrate the little wins. When you do something good, when you achieve something, when you move forward in any capacity, be grateful, be glad, do something for yourself, be happy, and, just be happy with it. And you'll learn, I think, as you go, that anxiety that comes in those situations. I'm not talking about the chronic stuff. I don't have an answer for that. That's your own decision. But I'm talking about the everyday. I'm talking about people who just deal with it on the everyday, like regular type thing. And there's a difference. But anyway, for those of us who deal with it like that, it's the best way. They say, and I might have said this before, I don't remember, but they say when you're lost, to stop where you are and someone will find you. Don't keep moving. I really feel like it's the same way with an anxiety-inducing situation. Don't keep making decisions. Stop. Because you're gonna start to grab at straws. And when you start grabbing at straws, you're not thinking. If you stop and you, for lack of a better way to say it, let that clarity find you, then you can make the decision and move forward. I think that's something that we as a society have gotten out of. We're so quick, we're so fast, everything is instant, fast. You click a button, it's there. You click an app, it's there. You order something, it comes. We don't have that mindset of one step at a time. We go to this, then we go to this, and then it's a journey. Whereas now we're like, we gotta go. And sometimes yes, but a lot of times no. A lot of times these things take time and you have to slow down and you have to actually break it apart and actually take those goals, those aspirations, break them down into small, manageable things and, do them in the way that is going to actually make sense. And then also where you're actually going to set yourself up for success. I've had situations in my life where I've had to now stop and set myself up for success by going slower. Sometimes it's not about the accuracy or the speed, it's about actually following through. So I think that's where, like I said, getting back to the inner dialogue, that inner dialogue with the Lord is so important, because the more you do that, the more that's the natural record playing in your head, the better you're going to be, the better you're going to handle things, the more you're going to sort of fit into that place where now you're in a rhythm, you're moving, you're making decisions, and things are going in the direction that you need. Again, I'm not an expert. I don't have it all together. That's why I'm called Getting It Together. But it really does help put your perspective in the right place and, kind of refilter everything. So with that being said, I didn't want to stay on long. It's really all I have for this week, but I hope you guys have a great week. Continue to just think over this, and I hope that this helped anybody out there. And remember, you're not alone. And remember, if you need someone, even when there's no one around, you do have someone. You can comment down below if you would like to hear anything else spoken through this podcast. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them best I can. And just keep supporting. Thank you guys so much. Bye.